If you're not losing weight and you're confused why, then it's not because of your metabolism, your age, or your genetics. I've lost 40 pounds and have coached over 100 women to do the same thing. And I can tell you, most people aren't stuck because they don't know what to do. They're stuck because there's a disconnect between what they think is happening and what is actually happening. And it always comes down to one of these 4 gaps. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what they are and what you can do about it to help you get through this plateau. So here is number 1, the consistency gap. What you think is I'm consistent most of the time. But what's real is that you might be consistent most of the time, but your body doesn't respond to time. It responds to your caloric intake across the whole week. So if we look at your week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even some of Saturday, you might be on track. You could be consistent for 6 out of 7 days of the week. But if on that one day where you're not consistent and you overeat by enough, you can easily eradicate the entire deficit you've created at the start of that week in that one day alone. Let me show you what I mean. Think of your deficit like a savings account. Monday to Thursday, you might be in a deficit by 500 calories per day. And that's like depositing 500 bucks into your account. Over the course of 4 days, you've got 2,000 saved. So you feel good, you're making progress and the account is growing. Then Friday night comes, you go out for dinner and you have the sides, the pudding and a bit of alcohol. You're not tracking, but let's be generous and say that you overate by 1,000. So going back to the savings analogy, that is a withdrawal of £1,000 or dollars. Then Saturday, you're feeling pretty snacky. You have some nuts, some crisps, a bit of chocolate. Then for dinner, you need something effortless, so you get a takeout. Another 1,500 calories over your allowance or a $1,500 withdrawal. Then Sunday, it's your tradition to have a roast dinner. Another 1,000 calories over, $1,000 out of the account. So total deposits Monday to Thursday, 2,000, and total withdrawals from the account Friday to Sunday, 3,500. That means that you are 1,500 bucks in the red. Monday morning, you step on the scales and they're up or they haven't moved. And you think, I was so good all week, what's happening? Well, the bank doesn't care about your deposits if your withdrawals are bigger. And your body is the same, it just sees the total. So here's what you need to do to get out of the consistency gap. First, be mindful of your bad days and track them properly. It's so easy to have the slip up and to try and get it out of your head. You don't want to know how many calories you consumed, and you don't want to think about what you've eaten, so you ignore it. But you can't fix what you aren't measuring, so you need data. And second, stop trying to focus on making your good days better when they're already good enough. Instead, focus on making your bad days less rubbish. That's where you've got more room to play with. Not overeating by quite as much. Still trying to get your steps in. Stopping when you know you've had enough food. Fix those days and the weight will come off. And if you need help being consistently good, not occasionally great, then download the free Range Targets resource in the description. It's a simple guide to keeping your head in the game even on your bad days. And now we have gap number 2, the time gap. What you think is this: I've been trying to lose weight for months, why isn't this working? But what's real is that you haven't been trying for months, you've been starting and stopping over and over again. You see, dieting tends to feel never ending for one of 2 reasons. The first is that you never fully do it properly. You lose the weight and you get to your end goal, but then you go back to what you were doing before, so the weight comes back on. You don't maintain the results, so yeah, of course you're constantly on and off a diet. So that's not a weight loss issue, that is a weight maintenance issue. And the second reason this feels never ending is because you're mentally dieting, but you're not actually dieting. You're thinking about food, you're weighing yourself, you're trying to pick the healthy option when you go out for dinner. But then you let yourself off the hook. You have a slip up and you start again Monday or next week or next month. You're doing all of the stuff, the stress, the guilt, the obsessing, but you're not doing the actual work consistently enough to see real results. So your brain's been in diet mode forever, but your actions are inconsistent. And yeah, consistency matters, of course, but so does intensity. And not intense like starving yourself or never eating anything you like ever again, but intense like committed, focused, all in. If you're half in, half out, this will take forever and it will be painful. And if you're not seeing the results, you'll just get bored and you'll throw the towel in. And that's gonna make this whole cycle start over again. So here's what you need to do instead. Pick a timeline and fully commit to it. Not I'll try or I'll see how it goes. All in. And not all in to being perfect or to never slipping up. That is ridiculous. But all in to not seeing your slip-ups as proof that you're failing. And all in to not giving up on yourself. All in to making this the last time. Full commitment to the something is better than nothing mindset, not spiraling and quitting altogether. Stop mentally dieting and actually see it through, and that is the most painless thing you can do. Gap number 3 is the portion and the calorie gap. What you think is, I eat healthy, sensible portions. But what's real is that you're eating more than you think, and healthy doesn't automatically mean weight loss. It's easy to think that if you eat healthily, then the weight will just fall off your body. So you swap the crisps for almonds, the chocolate for fruit. All healthier choices, all better for your gut, your health markers, your energy levels. But nutrient density doesn't drive fat loss. Calorie intake does. You can eat the healthiest diet in the world, but if you're eating too much of it, you will gain weight. Think of your body like a car and the calories of petrol. You think you're putting 40 litres in your tank because you're using the premium petrol, the healthy food. But the tank doesn't care if it's premium or regular, does it? It just cares about the overall volume, and if you put too much in, it's going to overflow. So yeah, the premium petrol is better for the car health. But if you're overfilling it, you're still putting too much in. So that's the calorie gap, and there's also the portion gap. When you first start a diet, you're careful, you measure things, you recognize the milk in your tea or the oil in your pan. But a few weeks or months down the line, your weight's coming off, so you get complacent. You think you've cracked it, but you get portion creep with your pasta, with your oats, with your spreads, condiments, drinks. So what you are eating might not have changed, but the how much part probably will. And the difference between a drizzle versus a heavy-handed portion of olive oil is easily 100 calories. And across the week, this compounds and could be the difference between you being in a deficit or at maintenance. So go back to basics with your meal planning, with your measuring, with your tracking if you need to. This is a really easy fix, but it does take a little bit of data. And finally, we have gap number 4, the effort gap. What you think is, I'm working so hard at this. But what's real is that you're working hard at the easy stuff, but you're ignoring the hard stuff. Let me give you an example from my own life. When I was at university revising for my exams, I would spend hours feeling productive. I would make lists of stuff that I needed to do and then add really easy tasks to it just so I felt productive ticking those easy tasks off. I'd organize notes, I'd buy highlighters, I would get the fancy books, but I would avoid the actual work that would move the needle because it was difficult. The past exam papers, the case studies, the endless revision, the repetition of doing the same thing over and over again. I avoided that because it was uncomfortable and because it didn't give me the instant dopamine hit that ticking something off my list gave me. And that's what I see a lot of women do with weight loss. They major in the minors and they think about the wrong things. They worry about their meal timing and whether it's okay to eat past 7 p.m. before they've managed their overall calorie intake. Or they get concerned about whether they need 3 meals and 2 snacks or 3 meals and no snacks when they're still binging 4 times a week. They question whether they should train fasted or have breakfast before exercise when they've not actually followed a workout program for more than 4 weeks in a row since 2012. This stuff makes you feel like you're making progress and that you're taking this seriously, but you're avoiding the hard stuff, not looking at the days that are going wrong, not sitting with the urge to overeat and not acting on it or questioning why you want food. It's not sexy and it won't give you that instant dopamine hit, but it works. So what I need you to do is identify what you are avoiding and then focus on removing that bad habit before you start adding 5 new ones. Optimize the basics first and prove that you can be consistent with them before adding loads of other stuff to your plate. So those are the 4 gaps: consistency, time, portions and calories, and effort. Identify which gap you're stuck in and then fix it. And again, if you want help with that, download the free range target resource in the description. It will give you things to focus on your bad days. And as we know, those are the difference between you quitting and stopping altogether or you keeping your head in the game and ultimately getting to where you want to be. So hopefully this was useful and I will see you in the next video.